Hello, Jeremy here. This episode will upgrade the text typer program with the ability to read text from a file and then type out the lines. Let's go ahead and do the code editing on video. So what I'm going to do is what I said last time. I'm going to go into Python, go into our program, and make it so these lines are actually text in a file, and we can load those lines in. So I'm going to start with these lines, so copy them out, make a new file, paste in the lines. So I'm just going to need raw text this way. There we go. So there's the text for episode. And you're going to go ahead and right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this as such. We're going to say episode lines. One of the things that you have to get good at is coming up with names for things. So, and we want to read in the lines from the file. So actually, the file.read lines. Call it lines file. Then we have to open the lines file. Lines file equals open. You want to open episode 3.text. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you what I'm doing here. So let's go and pop open the REPL. That's the wrong directory. And then we want to do Python here. So with Python, we can say that the file, we want to open a file up, and we want to open up the episode 3.text. And this is a file object. So we haven't seen this before, so this is saying that here's the object name, so it's called io.text IO-wrapper. It's the file name, it's in read mode, and this is the encoding. I'm actually not sure what that encoding is. So it is possible to go through every line of the file with the for loop, which is kind of cool. So just to show you that, you can go for F for line in F. So for each line in the file, print the line. And it's double spaced in this case. That's because the file has a character turn, and the print has a character turn, so it's double indenting, or not double spacing. Okay. So I believe this has consumed the file, so I gotta do f dot read lines to be empty. Yeah. So when you access a file, it is, there's something called a file pointer, and that is keeping track of the location in the file. So if you read up to a certain point, it advances the pointer. How to show this? So I have to reopen the file. Let's go back to the beginning. Oh, actually, that's not true. I can do f.seek to go back to the beginning. 0. So now we do f.read lines. We should get all the lines. Okay, that's that. And I have to seek back again. Just to show you, we want to get a single line. Next next is part of the looping protocol called the iterator protocol. So every time it goes in the for loop, it calls next on the object. So next on the file object will give you the next line. So you can actually do that. Next. That's the next line. That's the next line. And then when you're at the end, it stops it. Okay, but as you saw when I programmed it, we are going to use the read lines, which gives us a list of all the lines here. And we'll go ahead and use this now. Go back to episode lines. We'll save that out. And we'll go back to our program. Load it. And pull it up. And here we go. It's the same thing I had before. So let's go through it. Notice the boxes. This is the font trying to print the carriage return, and it doesn't have a image for it. So something that I didn't explain well last episode was kind of what a font does and what a font is responsible for. A font, you tell it, I want the letter A to be drawn on the screen, and it knows how to draw the letter A. So it can be in a different style or way to draw it. And this is obvious when you start doing other things like Japanese or Chinese characters or Arabic or any other language. It becomes much more obvious why we need that. So what you do is you say, given this particular font, I want to draw the letter A, and it draws the letter A for you when you say to render it. So here it's trying to draw the carriage return, which is enter. So it's trying to draw that, and it can't. So well, we can see this in the repo. I didn't explain this because, so here, this \n is backslash is a way to escape out of the string and put a special character after it. The special character in is character return. So backslash in is a character return. So that it's effectively the same as enter. So this is saying, hello Jeremy here, enter. Next line, enter. This episode, blah, 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 enter. Okay, so we have these enters at the end of the line. And so it's trying to print these out in this program. So to fix this, we need to remove the enters from each line. And this can be done by editing the program. So go ahead and open up the program again. We'll go back to the program. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lines, we're going to go through them, and we're going to remove it. So for line episode lines, and then we're going to go we're going to need a new list for this. You can reuse the list. Oops, reuse the list. So here we're going to say I'm going to need an index. So there is a function called enumerate, which can be used on lists. And it looks like this. So let me make a list. So A, B, C. I enumerate that list. And Python 3. Knowing about it. It numbers each element. So it makes these pairs of the index and the element. Index, element, index, element. So that's what I'm showing. Going back to the program. That's what I'm showing here. Is go through that list. Let me copy that list over so it'll be on screen. You can see it. Copy. This is kind of a trick. Well, it's not really a trick. It's just something I do when I want to see what I'm working on. Is I'll put in as a comment. Oh, I haven't even explained comments yet. So if you use this hash or pound sign, it means that this line is a comment. And the Python interpreter will not read this line. I'll just skip over this line. So this is how you can put comments into your code. And it just doesn't do anything. So what this is doing is it's going, go through this list. So take this element, which is this pair, and unpack it, which is this here, into the variable I. So 0 will become the variable I, and A will become the variable 1. this just allows us to do this episode lines of I. So that index equals line dot strip. What strip does is strips off white space, which a character return is considered white space, from the edges of the string. So the beginning or the end of the string. Which I can show you in the repo again. So I have a string. Hello world. /n. We print the string. It prints the character return here, and then it also has an internal character. The print is an internal character return. So if we s.strip, we actually call the function, we get hello world. So as opposed to hello world \n. The strip will strip off the \n, which is exactly what we want here. So we're going through each line and we're updating the line without the \n in this here. So now we save that and we rerun the program. We should see that there's no more boxes. So now we have gotten to the point where we can read from a file and print out the contents of the file. Just that easy. So now I want to update it further so that we can do even more. So let's go ahead and go back to here. So what is, I'm trying to remember what the DOS command is for cat. Whatever, I can pull it up. So it doesn't matter. So what I want to do is I want to be able to run the text typer UI with the text file that I want here. So I want to be able to say episode 3.text, and it will open up that text file. So to do this, we need to go ahead and go back into Python, my editor, and import sys. So import sys imports the system library, which is a built-in Python library, so we don't need to install it. And what sys allows you to do is pull in the command line arguments. And I will go ahead and show you what they look like. So I'll go print sys.argv. So this should print out all the system arguments. So I'll save it. Go back to the command line. And hit enter. All right, so here we see that the arguments are the strings that are after Python. So this is index 0, this is index 1. So we want the file at index 1 in this list. That's exactly what we're going to do. Go back to Emacs. So instead of opening this, we will open sys.argv of 1, so that first index. But we also want to go if the length of sys.argv is greater than or equal to 2, we'll do this. Else, we will go ahead and print. We need to specify a script text file and command line unit. And then we're going to return. That will exit Python and not allow anything to happen. So only when the user passes a file on the command line will we try to load it and get the lines. Otherwise, we'll return out of the program. And then if we have lines, we will read them in, we'll correct them, and then we'll call the main function on it. So save that, and let's go ahead and try it. Okay, so this is saying that return outside file. Okay, fine. Okay, so what it's complaining about is this return. No, I just erased it. So this return is not inside a function, so it's complaining about that. So we need to use exit. We're going to exit with an error code of 1. Usually the error code when you exit successfully is a 0. So here we're going to have an error code of 1, which means that it was not successful and we need to add a command line to it. Return codes are kind of out of the scope of this, and they're usually used for processing for shell scripts. Okay, I'll update that. We will go back to the repo and we will run this again. Okay, so that works, there's no problem. Let's go ahead and close out and try without this. So we need to specify the script. Perfect. So we'll run this. We'll show back to the text typer so I can show you guys. And we can see it works just the same, which is cool. So just to show that we're actually can use other files, let's go ahead and put another file in. Let's get rid of this line. That's great. And we'll do these guys. Open episode 2.txt. Paste it in. Rid of all of this stuff. Extra formatting that we don't need. Cool. So there's episode 2.txt. We'll go ahead and go back to the repo and do episode 2.txt. So now we should be able to go back to the text typer, show that, and we have the new text. Just perfect. That's what I wanted. So that is file handling and stripping of lines, doing some correction, enumerations, and that will do it for this episode. Thank you for watching.